Dian Fossey was born on January 16, 1932, in the United States. She was a woman who loved animals, especially gorillas. She spent many years of her life studying these amazing creatures in the forests of Africa. Her work was very important because it helped people understand gorillas better and protected them from danger. When Dian was a young girl, she loved animals. She would often play with her pets and watch wildlife shows on television. As she grew older, she decided she wanted to become a scientist. She wanted to study animals in the wild. In 1963, she learned about a famous scientist named Louis Leakey. Leakey was studying animals in Africa, and he needed help with his research. Dian contacted him and told him she wanted to help. Leakey was impressed by Dian's passion. He invited her to come to Africa and work with him. In 1966, Dian left the United States and traveled to Africa. She went to a country called Rwanda. Rwanda is a small country in East Africa, and it is home to many mountain gorillas. Dian went to a national park called Volcanoes National Park, which is in the mountains of Rwanda. There, she began her work with the gorillas. At first, Dian did not know much about gorillas. But she was very determined to learn. She spent hours watching the gorillas in their natural home. The gorillas lived in groups called troops. Each troop had a leader called a silverback. The silverback was the strongest and oldest gorilla. He protected the group and made important decisions. Dian Fossey spent many years observing the gorillas. She gave each gorilla a name, and she could tell them apart by their faces and behaviors. Some of the gorillas were shy, while others were more curious. Dian became very close to the gorillas. She learned that they were peaceful animals. They spent a lot of time eating plants, playing, and resting. She also learned that gorillas could communicate with each other. They used sounds, gestures, and body language to talk to one another. Dian Fossey's research was important because it helped people see that gorillas are not dangerous animals. Before her work, many people thought gorillas were wild and violent. But Dian showed that they were calm and gentle creatures. She wrote about her findings in books and gave speeches to share what she had learned. In addition to studying the gorillas, Dian Fossey also worked to protect them. Many people in the area were hunting gorillas for their meat or capturing them to sell. Dian was very upset by this. She knew that if people continued to harm the gorillas, they could become extinct. So, she started a project to stop poaching, the illegal hunting of animals. She set up a team of rangers to protect the gorillas. The rangers worked with the local communities to stop poaching and make people understand why the gorillas were important. Dian Fossey's work was not easy. She faced many challenges. The weather in the mountains was cold and rainy. She had to walk for hours each day to find the gorillas. Sometimes she got sick from the cold and the rain. But she never gave up. She was determined to help the gorillas. One of the biggest challenges was the danger of poaching. Poachers often killed gorillas for their body parts. They would sell these parts for money. Dian worked hard to protect the gorillas from poachers, but it was a very dangerous job. She even lived in the mountains, close to the gorillas, so she could watch over them. She didn't have many friends, but she had the gorillas. They were her family. Dian Fossey's work became famous around the world. People began to understand the importance of protecting gorillas. They saw that gorillas were not just animals. They were part of our world. Dian's efforts helped save many gorillas' lives. But not everyone was happy with her work. Some people thought Dian was too strict in her methods. She was known for being very protective of the gorillas, and some people did not agree with her way of doing things. In 1985, Dian Fossey wrote a book called Gorillas in the Mist. The book told the story of her life in Rwanda and her work with the gorillas. It became very popular and was later made into a movie. The book showed how much Dian loved the gorillas and how hard she worked to protect them. It also showed the dangers she faced, from poachers to the difficult living conditions in the mountains. Sadly, not long after the book was published, something terrible happened. On December 26, 1985, Dian Fossey was found dead in her cabin in Rwanda. She had been killed, and no one knew who did it. Some people thought that poachers might have killed her because of her work protecting the gorillas. Others believed it could have been someone she knew. The mystery of her death has never been solved. Despite her tragic death, Dian Fossey's work did not end. Her research and her efforts to protect gorillas changed the way the world saw these animals. Many people continued her work after she died. Today, the mountain gorilla population is growing, thanks to the efforts of scientists, rangers, and conservationists who continue her mission. Dian Fossey's life teaches us an important lesson. She showed us the value of caring for animals and protecting the environment. She believed that every animal had the right to live in peace. Her love for the gorillas and her determination to protect them made her a hero. Even though she is no longer with us, Dian's legacy lives on through the gorillas she helped protect and the people she inspired to care for wildlife. Dian Fossey was a brave and passionate woman who spent her life fighting for the gorillas of Rwanda. Her work continues to inspire people around the world to protect wildlife and take care of our planet. Through her dedication, she showed us that one person can make a big difference in the world.